What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 7 and we start today's stuff with the league table on Christmas Day. As you can see right now, up to 13th place in the table, 20 points on the board, but due to how tight it is in the bottom half of the table right now, it doesn't feel like we're several places above the drop zone because we're only 4 points off 18th place. Yeah, it's been a really strange first half of the season. It's so tight between so many teams at the moment. No one in the top 10 is thinking, oh yeah, we'll be alright. We'll be alright in the second half of the season. We're still, all of us, looking over our shoulders at the bottom three and thinking, in just a couple of weeks' time, we could be in there ourselves based on how tight it is right now. So for the first game of 3 in today's episode, travelling away from to take on Graham Potter's Brighton on the south coast, heading into this game, of course, on the back of the loss to Manchester United in the EFL Cup quarter-final at Old Trafford. Aiming to pick ourselves up with a big win. Now, as you know, Brighton were the first team we beat this season. We beat them in the EFL Cup second round, then we beat them for our first Premier League win as well. So Graham Potter's side thinking, okay, it can't be 3 straight games. Things have to change in this one. They took the lead very early on after the first shot was deflected and the following effort turned in, but right before the break, a chance to get back on level terms, Tony flicks it through to Wissa, whose shot hits the post, then goes across the goal line and is eventually cleared away by the Seagulls. So still trailing by a goal. So unfortunate not to get back on level terms with the woodwork rattling, but in the second half still trailing by a goal as Hector rolls through Dembele, a new signing for Brighton in this game here. Neil Maupay goes down the right hand side. Of course we know all about him. Takes around Rico Henry, back to former Chelsea right back Tariq Lamptey, and after some lovely dribbling by Mwepo, he rolls it through to Jonas Hector, who drills it in bottom corner to give Brighton a 2-goal lead just after the restart. So 2-0 was the final score in the end. As you'll see by the stats come the end of the game as well, we had just one fewer shot than Brighton in the game, but the XG was far lower. What do you guys think about the new stats layout, by the way? The stats and the player performance layout. I gotta say, I quite like it. I think sometimes there's a little bit too much information to show on one screen, if you will. Maybe I'm nitpicking here, but sometimes it can be hard to absorb all the information, but it's a lot more detailed. We've been crying out for this for many years to come, you know, to be able to track stats per game like that is really great. Now, the distance covered is probably my favourite individual stat you see, but even so, 2-0 the final score there, and there we go, half through the season, as you see the top 4, Manchester United, Liverpool, Man City and Spurs with the Red Devils leading the way. We remain in 13th place with 20 points, but again, you see the bottom 3, Norwich, Southampton and Watford. Watford finally picking up their first win up to 11 points, but you know, just 4 points separating us from Norwich in 18th and Southampton in 19th. It feels really weird at the moment. It's like we're in 13th place, and if you were to think, you know, half through the season you're in 13th, you're certainly not safe by any means, but you've probably got a bit of separation on the bottom 3. Not in this save, not this season, absolutely not. 4 points is such a small gap, and again, that just means that in 2 weeks' time, based on results, we could be in the bottom 3. So it's incredibly tight still in the season so far, and I think the main reason why, as you were seeing by the league table, there's been an abnormal amount of draws this season. Lots and lots of draws in the first half of the campaign. Is that a FIFA 22 thing? I'm not entirely sure, but it has been this season. See, sort of top stats there. Ivan Toney is in the top scoring charts for now, but I just can't see him winning the Golden Boot in this season. He seems to pick up the Golden Boot in every single season in my FIFA 20 career mode. Don't think that's going to happen this time around sometime. And also, we had an academy update as well. Not an academy, sorry. We had an academy email. Gabriel Hunt wanted to terminate his contract. And I don't know whether you guys are the same as me. When you see that a youth player is unsettled, unless you've had your eye on them for a while, unless you desperately need a player in that position, I tend to release. Like, unless I know they've got great potential, or again, it's in a position where we're lacking depth, I'm most likely going to release. We've got enough fullbacks here. Rico Henry and Ryan Niamber are great. We've got the young Danish right back Roslev, Dominic Thompson on the other end, and the 2 academy lads, James Arnold, who would start this game at right wing back, and as we know, probably the best prospect in the academy right now, Charlie Bohr as well. So he got released, and I won't regret that one bit. Still, for the second game of today's episode, on the back of the loss to Brighton, aiming to pick it back here against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, the champions, coming to take us on at the Community Stadium here with the final game of the calendar year. This was a game where we were withstanding heavy pressure from the very first whistle, as you would expect. It was all one-way traffic. We had basically no chances in the game at all. We were defending so well. With 15 minutes to go, still deadlocked at 0-0 though. This was just misfortunate. Yep, Zanka has his, attempted pass register as a foul, and it was the right decision as well. Heavy first touch, tries to clear the ball, and is just poked backwards there. My reaction on the sidelines wasn't quite the same. in the, well, in real life. I've got to be honest, once I saw the replay, I was like, okay, no doubt about it. Certain penalty, and I can't complain about that. I think we were quite misfortunate with a couple of penalties we've had conceded so far, but that one, definitely not in my opinion. It's the right decision. It's a spot kick. It was a lazy, well, not lazy, but a late challenge from Zanka. Right decision. And as you can see, KDB chips it in to the bottom corner to get the visitors there. Deserved lead. Took a long time. We were defending so well for the entire game, and that is just absolutely cheeky. Because imagine having the balls to do that, man. Seriously, if that was me, I'd probably slip over John Terry-esque because I'm going to take the penalty, man. The pressure would be too much for me, but imagine having the cojones to literally just dink it like that in such a massive, massive moment in a game where you're still tied at 0-0. So in the end, the final score was 1-0. To be honest, it could have been a lot more, though. This was not one of those games where I say, oh, but look at our XG, we played really well, we just couldn't take the chances. Nah, this was not that game at all. Didn't get a single shot in the game, and really, had it not been for David Raya making some great saves, would have lost this game like 3-4-0. KDB's penalty in the end was the only goal of the game, but really, yeah, didn't really have anything to celebrate in that one whatsoever. So 1-0, it's now back-to-back games in the Premier League with a loss, back-to-back games without a goal, and as you can see, closing out the calendar year of 2021, the Red Devils still leading the way in the race for the title, 2 clear of Liverpool and the champions Manchester City. We dropped to 14th place in the table, and the gap is now 2. Leeds now into the bottom 3 alongside Crystal Palace, and now Watford with 14 points on the board as well. So just 2 points above the drop zone with 18 games to go. Yeah, like I said before, we might be several places above the drop zone, but it doesn't feel like it whatsoever. So as the January transfer window would open, you see that Alvaro has been recalled by Huesca, as we haven't played him enough this season. Do you know what? No, I'm totally fine with that. He was obviously the hero in our EFL Cup 3rd round tie on the penalty shootout, but to be honest, I'm totally fine with that, because of course we've got the young guy, Alan Wynne, out of the academy, just 17 years old, but has the exciting prospect tag, so I'm more than happy for him to come our bench goalkeeper now for the rest of the season. And when you look at our team as well, heading into the January transfer window, you have to ask the question, whilst we are above the drop zone right now, I keep on mentioning it, only 2 points clear of the bottom 3. When you go through the squad, you ask yourself this: are we good enough to survive in the Premier League? Now, after that horrific start, we've dragged our way out of the bottom 3, and we haven't been in it since. We've done really, really well to, despite not create separation, stay away from the relegation zone and keep ourselves out of the bottom 3. But as I run you through the squad here, you do have to ask the question, are we good enough to stay in the top flight? Because you know some of the teams below us, they've got far more quality than we do. They've got more quality and depth than we do as well. There's not a great deal amount of depth in this team in terms of quality players. There are some decent youngsters, Pert Harris, a couple out of the academy as we know, the young goalkeeper, Alan Wynne. Seb Jakobsen, by the way, has just hit 60 overall, and we find out he's got the exciting prospect tag as well, so I love that. He has had some erratic minutes this season, but only 1 goal in 8 games. Not a great start for Seb, but I love the exciting prospect tag. Yeah, you got to ask the question in January, do we make a big move? Do we sell one of our first team players and try and bring in a better one that will give us more chance of staying in this division? You see our fixtures for January here: Aston Villa, Liverpool away, Wolves at home, and the FA Cup 3rd round is away against the Championship side, Middlesbrough, at the Riverside Stadium. I think we are good enough to stay in the division, personally. We've been out of the bottom 3 for a long time now. I think we're good enough to stay in the top flight, but really what it depends on is getting our goal-scoring woes sorted, because I know we can defend pretty well. We've got a great deal amount of clean sheets already this season, a very decent defensive record for a team in the bottom 10, but scoring goals has been the problem. So I don't think really we need to blow up this team in January and make major changes, but we just need to score more goals. And so for the 3rd and final games of this episode, New Year's Day, Aston Villa at the Community Stadium in the snow in such a scrappy game with barely anything going on. Wissa gave us the lead, and then with 3 minutes to go, well, I didn't expect this guy to be bombing at the pitch and get us the goal that clinches the game, but he does. Vitali Janelt, the German, runs through one-on-one the length of the Aston Villa half after Ivan Toney slips in the ball through. He drills it past Emi Martinez, and the former Gunners goalkeeper is beaten for the 2nd time in a 2-0 victory. So the proof's in the pudding. We can win these games against decent teams. We can score goals, but I think it's not about the team. I think it's about me. I'm going to be totally honest. I don't think it's about the team. I don't think it's about the play style. I don't think it's about any of those things. I think it's about me. I just lack composure in the chances I get to score the goals. It's on me in the second half of the season. If we are to stay up, you know, who knows, maybe in this January window, one sale, one signing, but I don't think we need to make major changes. I don't think we need to experiment with the tactics. No, I just think it's on me. If we're to stay up, it's on me to be more clinical in front of goals. 16 goals in 21 games. If I can turn that around in the second half, I think we'll be alright. But that was this episode of Career Mode, guys. Big fan. Fortunately, if you enjoyed it, if you hadn't, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. And I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.